Welcome to the Bold Goal Crusher podcast for anyone looking to stop letting life get in the way and start crushing bold goals. I'm your host, Sara Mayer, and I'm thrilled to navigate this journey with you because it's time to start boldly achieving without working double time. So let's dive in. Hello, Bold Goal Crushers. Today, I am excited about this episode. I'm excited about all episodes. But today we're going to talk about, are you a good student? And if you're not, how you can become a good student. So welcome to the show as we crush goals and everything that gets in the way. And one of the things that happens along our goal journey is that we need to become good students. It's important to be a good student academically, but it's also important to be a good student in your personal development, in your career, and in things that you're trying to get done to achieve your goals. So let's talk about what actually defines a good student. So there are some characteristics of a good student. Good students listen, they absorb the knowledge, they have discipline, so they take in the lesson, they manage their time, and they actually implement. I think that's one of the biggest keys to being a good student. You can learn everything you want to learn, but if you actually don't go do it, are you truly a good student? That's number one. The number one is being curious, asking lots of questions, and really being open to having that growth mindset versus that critical mindset or that closed mindset, and really critically thinking through how can you implement in your life, in your household, in your home, in your work setting. And there is a balance between learning and doing. But when you don't do both, what happens is you can consume a lot of content, you can learn a lot, but when you don't critically think about how can I implement this in my daily life and then actually go do the work, why are you learning it in the first place? I'm going to say that again. Why are you learning it in the first place if you're not going to go and implement it? Is it just to store a bunch of random facts? Somebody called one of my friends a repository of random facts because they knew all this information that was seemingly useless. But it wasn't useless because he did use that to go on a game show. So he was learning those facts for a reason. But honestly, why are you learning what you're learning? Why are you consuming what you're consuming? It's one thing to scroll through social media and see something that's interesting and learn it. But it's another thing to actually go and do and implement it in your daily life or your business. So here are a couple of strategies for success when it comes to learning. The first thing is to really think about how, when you're consuming knowledge, how you are capturing those nuggets. So there are some tips for that. That could be using the outline method as far as note taking, mind mapping it out. There are lots of different strategies in how to do that. But I encourage you to pick a strategy that allows you to take good notes, that then allows you to go forward and take action. So I have different notebooks for different topics. For example, I have a brand on Bold Goal Crushers, which you all are a part of. And so anything that has to do with my clients along the Bold Goal Crusher brand, they go into one notebook. All my client notes, one notebook, so that I can easily refer to those. And I'm not sorting through a bunch of different notebooks that are unrelated. As I run a couple of nonprofits, and they all have a notebook as well. This is a system that works for me. I like to take paper notes. Now, I know that there are people out there that love OneNote and other things like that, and feel free to use them. You need to find what works best for you. And you can use different methods for note taking. Some people just write out little notes. I like to put little boxes around things that I actually need to go do. Or if I'm using like a document and I know that I
that really resonated with me, I highlight it or I'll copy it into my notebook and put the page number I found it on. So it's really important to come up with a process for how you are going to capture what you are learning. That is one of the keys to being a great student. Now, you may manage that in a different way, but however you manage it, make it effective for you. The next thing to become a great student is to really come at learning with balance, making sure that you're consuming and implementing, setting realistic goals. If you buy a course that's really robust and has a lot of worksheets and stuff like that, set aside the time during that 8-week course to actually take action and work on those things. Now, I want to talk a little bit about when you do consume a course or any type of learning, there's a lot that goes into organizing the material in a certain flow. And what I find with a lot of students is they get excited. They know some things that they need to do as a part of the flow, but they jump the ladder. They'll go from step 2 to step 5. And they haven't really implemented step 2, or they haven't put their head down and done the work in step 1 because they're trying to get the full result. And so to be a good student, keep things in order. Please keep things in order and do things in the steps that the teacher has logically and methodically ironed out. Don't try and jump the ladder. The other thing too is many times when you're learning, there are roadblocks or challenges. And I think it's important as a student to remember that you're not going to know everything. And it's okay to not be the expert. It's okay to get into the beginner mindset and remember that you're a beginner and it's okay that you don't know everything. And that's why you are taking the course. So many people get stuck on tech. They know they need to do this, so they'll get stuck on tech and then they don't move forward because they haven't made a decision. So make decisions, seek out others when you are learning something new because somebody else has tackled that. But the key thing is to make a decision. You can always change that decision, especially when it comes to tech. I decided originally my podcast was going to be this way. And then that didn't quite work for me anymore. So I changed my mind. But the important part about learning and doing is taking action. So there are some setbacks that you will encounter, but it's important to take the action and move forward. So I'm going to ask you, are you a good student? Do you listen? Do you follow the process in order? Do you set time aside to implement? Are you critically thinking about how you might use this in your daily life and your work life? And if you're not, why are you consuming another course? So before you go buy another course, make sure you set time aside to do it and decide what type of course or program or anything that you need. Do you need coaching? Do you need a course? Because they're very different. And there are courses that you can consume in an afternoon and implement very shortly after. And then there are courses that are more robust. So really decide before you become a student, is this the right type of course for what I need right now? All right, everyone, it's time to crush your goals and everything that gets in the way. So become a good student and learn how to set and crush your goals. So let's get to it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Bold Goal Crusher podcast, where we crush goals and everything that gets in the way. I always love to support my community. I look forward to seeing you crush your goals this year.